All right, folks, we're back around the turn, and this week it's Del Mar, it's Saratoga. We're going to be looking at Del Mar, late pick 3 on Friday. It's finally here. It's a beautiful thing. If you're new to the program, if you haven't seen it before, very simple rules. Our guests are going to make a selection in these races. I divvy out points. I'm the salt of the earth. I'm the nicest guy on the planet. And then I award points, I'm not going to use a line that I normally use, but I am stern and I am fair, like my heroes. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest. First off, he got back from his triumphant walk about the mountains in SoCal. He found his crystal skull. He drank his kale juice. He's ready to go. The most unethical person I've ever met, Tyler Hoffman. Tyler, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Stu. Couldn't be happier. I don't think the world could be any nicer right now. I think everyone is just getting along and enjoying themselves and just excited about Del Mar. There's just so much enthusiasm right now, especially on horse racing. I'm loving all the energy.
It feels like business is booming for everybody in horse racing. Well, not everybody, but business is booming for horse racing, and it's a beautiful sight. Welcome back to it. Our first returning champion, our local weatherman. He is from the state of Minnesota. He has about 7 friends on Facebook, up since his victory last time. He's Marshall Sterling. Marshall, go green, brother.
Go green, go white. Let's go.
There we go. Hey, that's 5
great.
points.
You guys know that's a great switch,
5
right?
points.
5 points for that?
Yes.
You gotta be kidding me.
Just
Very
for that,
much
right
so.
there.
Yeah, there you go. 5 points. It's a beautiful thing. And finally, he's the greatest track announcer. Some call him the greatest track announcer in the world. He is very, I'm going to say, he's going to be the future voice of a Kentucky Derby. One day, when Travis Stone retires, he's going to call a Kentucky Derby. He's that good, and he knows what the inside of a locker looks like. Matt Dinerman. Matt, how are you?
Good to be on, man. It's been a real whirlwind so far this year, but we're back at it, and I'm ready to rain on the weatherman's parade here.
I like what you're doing.
Sitting on that all day.
Sitting on it all day. 5 points for Matt. So good job. You're getting in the spirit of things. We need you to be mean, even though you're not.
I'm not.
You're not.
Unless if it's with Tyler. I can be mean to Tyler.
Hey, that's going to be points. So we got 5-5 before we even started Tyler.
Is it just me, or is that starting to feel like a theme this week?
Well, no, you're just
it's probably just you. It's in your head. So before we get started, Matt and Marshall, 5 points apiece. Producer Craig, Tyler Hoffman at 0, but we're going to let him go first. Tyler, in this late pick 3 sequence here Friday at Del Mar, I'll let you pick first. Since you are a professional and you know how to write up a good trip note, give me a horse that's got a great trip note here.
I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you let me go first, because I like a horse a lot in this late pick 3 sequence to kick things off. It's 12-1 on the morning line, and that is number 9, Major Cabby, for trainer Peter Miller. Everyone knows at Los Alamitos, you want to be on the outside. Inside is no good over there. But there is such a thing as being too wide, and that's what Major Cabby was last time. It's a much better than luck performance. I think everyone should upgrade it. I think 12-1 on the morning line is probably too high for this one. I think he probably goes off 6, 7, 8-1 range. I love the outside post draw and the cutback and distance, and I think he's certainly a live runner. Look for Peter Miller to get off the schneid early in this Del Mar meet with Major Cabby in race 8.
All right, Matt Dinerman, are you an Uber guy? Where are you going?
I'm going to the rail. Seville Road, the other Bob Baffert entrant in the race. This horse here, he ran once. He was a little green, and he didn't beat the greatest field. What I like about this horse, he's older. I think he's faster. Looking at his works, I think he's better. And he actually worked with a graded stakes winner named Magic on Tap the other morning and toyed with him. It was a mismatch. He absolutely outworked this horse easily by open lengths and galloped out great. He worked with Freedom Fighter, actually, who's also in this race about a month ago, and they were head and head, but I think Freedom Fighter worked a little better. But I think this horse is just a little bit quicker than Freedom Fighter. I really do. Freedom Fighter's got speed, but when you look at the fractions, really not all that rapid. And I think this horse from the rail, I don't love the post. He's going to go, go, go. And I'm wondering if maybe this horse is a surprise package, being the other Bob Baffert in the race. And we know Freedom Fighter, he's going to get bet with Pratt and Baffert teaming up. So I'm going with the other one here, Savile Row, number 1, with Abel Cedillo.
All right, Matt, a big fan of judges in this country. Marshall, where are you at today?
Yeah, so I'm going to skip the same horse that Dinerman did too. I don't want Freedom Fighter in this race. He's going to be way too short, and the pace seems that it'll probably be pressed pretty hard. So I'm all for the number 4 Exalted, Peter Urton and Umberto Rispoli. Going back to the Triple Bend the last time out was not only wide but off slow, and my hope is that he'll be able to get a stocking trip behind the leaders and we'll get first run at him. My hope is that he will get first run before Major Cabby, because Major Cabby does concern me quite a bit, and so does Savile Row. So I think those would be the only 3 that I would need.
All right, points time, fair and judicious here. Matt, you pick somebody that I just can't get along with. 0 points. Marshall, nice job, but you just ended up accentuating Tyler's pick. 0 points. Tyler, 10 points for picking Major Cabby, and also being a Lyft driver on the side. Congratulations.
Hey,
Gotta
let's
make
go.
money somehow. There is no other way in the world to make
You're a
money.
Lyft driver? Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
Get that side
Congratulations.
hustle. Let's go.
Hey, gotta get
All
money
about
for
the side
Delmar
hustle
somehow.
picks.
Exactly.
Next race, Matt Dinerman. We're gonna let you go first since Tyler stole your horse last time. Anybody's ball game. 5, 5, and 10. Matt, can you make up some ground?
I think I'm going to make up ground, and I think the horse I'm going to pick is going to make up some ground late. That's number 8, Flashiest, from the Leonard Powell barn. I just really like that this horse ran second to a really nice Baffert horse, Hudson Ridge. I think he's a pretty good horse. He's not eligible to run in this restricted Oceanside Stakes. If he was, my guess would be he'd probably be 3rd choice on the morning line behind the 2 way outside runners. Could be even lower than that. I don't know. But I think Flashiest is going to get a pace. And I like that he's steadily improving. He's cutting back from 1 1/8 to a mile. It's a little bit of a different ball game when you go from 9 to 8. But this horse here ran very, very well going a mile when he broke his maiden. So I think he's going to be laying off a fast pace. He's going to come charging late. And he's facing maybe not easier, but definitely horses that are on par with Hudson Ridge at their best. And I think with a little bit of improvement, this horse here with the pace in mind could spring a mild upset. I think he's 6 to 1 on the morning line. So that's number 8, Flashiest, hoping to be flashy on opening day.
You know, Leonard Powell hasn't won since 1984, but you
Oh.
kind of saved it towards the end there. Marshall, I'll let you go second.
Perfect. I'm going to take my top pick. I don't need anyone else. The number 3 Crew Dragon. Switch to John Sadler, Umberto Rispoli. There's a theme going on here. On the back, this horse ran up against Cellist and was 3rd. Right behind him, who was 2nd against the Aidan O'Brien monster last weekend. And I just really think that this horse will be coming into the race really well. Don't need anyone else. Crew Dragon, number 3.
Marshall, you keep screwing up Rispoli's last name worse than England in a penalty kick. Tyler, I know. Hey, Spencer, hey, you can make, I'll give you my Venmo, Spencer, if you saw last week's show. Well, no, that was off air, but Spencer Luganville owes me some money. Tyler Hoffman, I know you're a little disappointed in Marshall's pick. Is there a side piece you got on this one?
Oh, of course. Well, first off, thank you for finally mentioning the way, Marshall's just butchering Rispoli's name. I mean, it's embarrassing. It sounds like he's actually from Minnesota. But yeah, Marshall did take a horse that I like, and Marshall, I can make so many arguments based on the trip notes that would just make you want to triple your bet. But I can pivot. It's no big deal. I'm gonna go, instead of Rispoli, I'm gonna go to, let me think, Southern California, Delmar. I'm gonna go to Pratt. That seems like a good idea on the turf. I'll go to the number 13. What makes Sammy run? This was an incredibly impressive performance last time. in the Desert Coast Stakes while sprinting. This runner's 2 for 2 since turning over to the West Coast. The trouble line looks like it's horrendous, right? Bump start, lacked room past the 3/8. Both are accurate, but I didn't think that's not the real story to me. And I didn't think it was that big a deal. What is the real story is this one's turn of foot. When he got to the outside, he exploded and just took off and was immediately geared down, ears up, was shut down on the gallop out. They didn't even let him go much further than, just into the first turn. I think that the only concern that I have, besides obviously the 7-2 morning line on this one, is this one is a dead cold sprinter. They're stretching out to a mile today. Can that form translate to 2 turns now? Because in the previous 2-turn race this one's run, haven't exactly been the same type of runner. But I'm going to trust that Pratt, who had his choice of about 17 different horses in here, is confident that he can, and we'll let what makes Sammy Run take the Oceanside Stakes this year.
All right, Tyler, I like some salty comments. You're going to get a point pushing you up into, maintaining your lead. Matt, just an abysmal pick, but you sold it really well. Just really flashy at the end. That's 5 points. I like. He's just, folks.
He had that announcer's tone, didn't he?
He's got an announcer's tone. I mean, I'd almost even thought it could win, but it can't.
Come on,
Marshall. You get 2 points for picking the right horse. So we're getting closer. Tyler Hoffman, you're still in the lead, even though your ethics have left you. Marshall, you are up first in the last race. Take it home, big guy.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to the Mongolian stable owned horse, number 4, Mongolian Legend. I really think that this horse can bounce back, 2 back in the optional claiming 50, ran really, really well on the lead and was absolutely hounded the entire time. Came back and really was flat out of the gate, and that isn't how he runs. I'm hoping Mongolian Legend can bust out of that gate, get out to the lead, and never look back. So my pick is number 4, Mongolian Legend.
You said 4, threw up 3. It confused me. Tyler Hoffman, where are you at?
Man,
you're pinky cut off there.
For the 17th time I've had the lead in this little game we play over here and around the turn.
Well, can you keep
today's
it?
the day I break through, because I even have the winner in the last race too. That's
Okay.
number 8, Albizu, for trainer Kristen Mulhall and Flavian Pratt. It's another trip no play for me. There's not much in this field. This is a lot of ugly horses running. Some horses are breaking their mains in 3-horse fields. I mean, there's not much to beat in here. This one stretches out today. I thought the effort last time was pretty good. Pay close attention to the winner of last race, Box of Chocolates, runs back in race 8 on the card. If Box of Chocolates runs a pretty good race, I think that upgrades Albizu's chances here. Look for a forwardly placed trip. Flavian Pratt looking to get over and save some ground going into the first turn. I think he has lead turn for home and doesn't give it up.
Stunning. Tyler goes with Flavian Pratt. Shocking. Matt Dinerman, give me some of them sultry tones, baby. I want to hear who you're picking.
Well, let me tell you, if my picks run the way that you project them to run, then that evening at the bar is going to be a very long night. And I'm picking the longest night in race number 10, number 7, the longest night. Coming off a win off a really long layoff. And this horse actually in a maiden race back in 2019 ran right behind Mo Forza. I mean, this horse actually had some talent. It appeared early on in his career. He took a very long layoff from November 2019 to May of 2021, and he won easily sprinting. I think he's going to be a little bit better routing. His pedigree indicates that. Before the layoff, he ran in a pretty decent maiden 50 and he routed. He stalked the pace. Last time he was on the lead, but before that layoff, he routed, stalked the pace, and almost won, lost by a neck. So I don't think, even though it looks like there will be a decent pace, I don't think this horse necessarily needs the lead. And Phil D'Amato's very good second start off a break. And I think rather than putting him back in a sprint race, opting to route him second off the break, that might tell you a little something as well. Maybe he thinks this horse will be better going a mile on a 16th. So we're taking our chances with the longest night for Ricky Gonzalez, Phil D'Amato.
All right. Those sultry tones really made you competitive in this last round. Sorry, Marshall, even with the head start of 5 points, you went with a Mongolian horse, and I'm not a big fan of Genghis Khan. Too stern, not really fair, not one of my favorite dictators of all time.
Had a lot of kids, too.
A lot of kids. Zero. Tyler, we run into this situation every week, folks. Tyler or Spencer get out to this big lead, and then they kind of choke at the end. But this
Yeah, they
time,
can't finish. That's okay. It happens.
point. So you get a point there. Tyler, you this time, however, 10 points. 10 points. That
Wow.
was a great
do I have an
pick.
insurmountable lead?
I fell on this horse, and it was the horse I was gonna actually pick. So I have to award you 10 points. That wasn't until I heard the sultry tones of Matt Dinerman. 49 points
Wow.
on that one, Matt. That was just
Yes.
I felt it. I felt it in my
Another
gallbladder.
photo I lost.
Another photo. You hate to
Yeah.
see it. And on that disappointing note, thank you for joining us around the turn this week. Most of our guests were ethical. We're going to try and do better next time. Well, some may not be here, pending lawsuits. We'll see what happens. It'll be an interesting week. So thank you to Matt Dinerman. Thank you to Tyler Hoffman, Marshall Sterling, also known as Sturgeberger. And we will catch you next week on Around the Turn.